Radiator mount busted off. Oh! Danger Ranger holding the Super Duty back from tipping down the hill. Stop! Alright, taking off the old tie rod, and we have our replacement tie rod. Well, as you guys just saw, we have a nice compilation and a long history of things happening to us when we go four-wheeling.
Of practicing recoveries.
Exactly. Recoveries, repairs, all of the above. Any of you guys that have watched our channel for a while know that whenever the Reckless Wrench Garage goes out four-wheeling, stuff is probably going to happen that was not planned for.
It's an adventure every time. That could mean one of two things. We're either really bad at off-roading, or we're really good at recovering things.
It definitely means that over our time, we've learned a lot about what to prepare for out on the trail.
Fact.
So on this episode of the Reckless Wrench Garage, we are going to share all of our knowledge and experience that we've gathered of breaking stuff, getting stuck, needing to be recovered out on the trail with you guys. So, roll intro.
Yeah.
This is Chris's favorite thing to bring with. What is the number one most important thing when you go off-roading to have with you?
The only thing I really ever remember to bring with me every time. Somebody who can pull you out of something and get you back to camp or wherever you're going to be at.
Fact. Easily the most important thing to have is at least one other person and another rig out on the trail with you. Because number one, being broken alone sucks. And number two, like Chris says, you need someone to pull you out, or at least drive back into town to get parts, or a trailer, or a tow truck. Number one, bring another rig, never go alone. All the stuff that we're talking about that you should bring with you, we made a handy dandy checklist. Link is down below in the description. Click on it. You can look at it on your phone, print it off, bring it with you, whatever you want to do. Comment down below things that you want added to the list. If they're good, we will throw them on there, but we want to make like a community list, you know, that would be awesome, because everyone out there on the internet has more knowledge than us combined, so we don't know everything. Comment down below if you know of something that we're forgetting, or if you've seen something that works, or have a cool idea, drop it in the comments. The next most important things to bring is going to be the emergency equipment type stuff. So this is like your water, snacks, Monster for you. If he doesn't have caffeine, he gets very cranky. But in all seriousness, first aid kits, it's always a good idea that every vehicle should have a first aid kit in them.
Band-aids for your boo-boos.
Yep. So I got this fancy guy right here. This is probably a more serious first aid kit than what most people would need. I have like a tourniquet, a splint, some heavy-duty bandages, super glue, stuff like that in there. Chris has a little first aid kit in his bag that he carries with him.
It glows in the dark.
Yeah, it's always good to have one. I know when you're four-wheeling, you think, oh, nothing's going to happen, but The reality is people roll over, people flop. There's potential for actually pretty serious injury. I'm sure everyone heard about the lady at Jeep Safari that got hit by a Jeep and actually had to be life flighted off the trail. So it can...
Stuff happens.
Yeah, a good day of wheeling can go really bad really quick, so try to be prepared for that. Next important thing to bring with, something both me and Chris are very familiar with, a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Would you be mad if I fire extinguished you right now?
Yes. I'd be very upset.
Yeah, get a fire extinguisher, have it in a place that's easy to locate, make sure it's good. One thing that we have learned, get the fire extinguisher that has the metal handle on it, because if this thing is rolling around or if it's in the sunlight, it'll get brittle, it'll break off, and then whenever you need it, it's going to be useless and your truck's going to go down in a ball of fire. Often forgotten, toilet paper. Highly essential to have out on the trail with you.
Or extra shirts.
The next two sections going to be your basic hand tools to do all your repairs that you're going to have out on the trail. We have learned that whenever you're going as a pair, it is highly beneficial to split up the tools into two groups. So I have one section, he has the other section. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta take into consideration the rigs that you're taking out of there, or that you're taking out there. You're gonna go wheeling, there's a chance that you might get stuck. You're putting strain on all these parts. This thing weighs 6,000 pounds. 200, 300 pounds doesn't seem like much, but it's more than I need to worry about.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna pile 300 pounds of tools into my rig alone.
Yeah.
Rather than having that much, we're gonna split. Chris takes some tools, I take some tools. I mean, it's cool and all when you carry 500 pounds of tools in the back of your Jeep and blow out your shocks, but it's just unnecessary roughness.
With the hand tools, what I learned, I really like doing a soft bag to carry them around. I used to have a toolbox that I carried around in, but the soft bag is way nicer, carries easier, it packs down smaller, and it pretty much holds all of the hand tools, the smaller ones. So,
Yeah, I carry all the heavier stuff, like the sledgehammer and the big pry bars and the impact and the 1/2-inch drive sockets, all in this guy.
I'm not going to go through the entire list and explain every single little tool, but wrenches, ratchets, sockets, all that.
Typical tool stuff.
Yep. Pack all that in there. Said it before, I'll say it again. Yeah, if you have something on your truck, like massive hub nut or spindle nuts, if you have massive spindle nuts on your truck and you need some sort of special socket like this, make sure you bring it with you, because not everyone's going to carry that kind of shit with them. It's equally as important would be the recovery gear.
Absolutely. Especially if you're me.
He uses
Always.
recovery gear a lot.
Always have recovery gear and have it readily accessible. To start, your winch. And how do you use your winch, Chris?
Usually it's pulling you somewhere, either on the trailer
Not
or...
what I meant.
Oh. Winch controller. We have witnessed firsthand, if you don't know where your winch controller is, it could be a bad day.
Audrey, yeah, you need to come get the winch control. Is it in the black?
Always be prepared. Keep your winch controller and the tools that you're going to be using often or in an emergency readily available to get out. So, worst case scenario, someone rolls over on the trail, you need to get their rig rolled over on its wheels quickly. Like, you don't want it on its lid for very long. So if you have to search forever for your winch controller, that's not good. Put this thing in a place that you can get to it really quickly, and make sure your winch works too before you go four-wheeling. Another thing to look over before you go on your trip is your winch line. Inspect your winch line, make sure it's in good condition. We actually just installed a new winch line on the Suburban because the front section, the first 20 feet or so, was going bad. So we got a bunch of new recovery gear from Sneevy's Offroad. I met Steve at the Easter Jeep Safari vendor show. He's a really cool guy. He's actually a big fan of the show. But Sneevy's Offroad is a small mom and pop off-road shop. They've been running it since 2013. Go to sneevysoffroad.com and check it out. Anything you don't see on the website, call Sneevy's and they could order it pretty much. They are a dealer for every single major brand that I've been able to think of and look up. They could get it. So check out their off-road gear. This is where we got a bunch of new stuff. Oh yeah, and it is very nice. I'd just like to point out this recovery strap that we got has neoprene rash guards on it, and even comes with a Velcro strap to keep it together. So you don't got to worry about it just going everywhere when you pull it out or try to put it back in.
After ripping off somebody's bumper. What are you laughing about, Sarge?
Let me fill you guys in. We don't ever recommend any products unless we fully test their durability, usability, and their overall quality in general.
If you're unsure about this stuff, watch this clip.
It's pretty nice.
It's adorable.
The Velcro is a nice touch, I gotta say. All right.
God damn it. Another CV antenna.
Sorry, Sarge. You know what's funny? For a split second, I thought the weight unloading was you getting out of the hole. In case anyone's wondering, Sneevy's Off-Road soft shackles and snatch strap are stronger than steel. But yeah, big thanks to Sneevy for sending us recovery gear. Again, go check out sneevysoffroad.com. Support those who support the Reckless Wrench Garage, and check out his website.
One thing we weren't too sure about was the soft shackles. We first saw them and it didn't make any sense how they worked. So finally, you know, since Sneevy sent these to us, we were finally able to actually see them. We got to use some while we were in Moab, and that kind of sold us on them.
Yeah.
So we're used to the hard shackles that, you know, you had a little bolt thingy and yada yada. But take a look at this and see how many different uses you can have for one of these things. The one thing I didn't understand about these is how they were used.
Yeah, I thought it was just the knot that was like holding. Yeah, that was thought it was something like that. But actually, if you look, the end of the shackle is weaved through itself, so it actually makes like a little slip joint, and it will tighten around itself. So I never understood that before, but these things are pretty slick. So yeah, you just put it in there like that, and then when you pull tension on it, bam. So yeah, just put it through there. Quick and easy.
Benefit of the soft shackle is you can put it just about anywhere. So let's say somebody rolls over on their side, and you have to flip them over. Put it around their slider. Perfect. Where else can you put it? You put it around the roll cage. Lock your keys in your car? No problem. Showing you where all you can put them doesn't mean anything unless you have something to compare it to. Well, in comparison, that soft shackle can go around pretty much anything. What can these do?
So the next couple sections on our checklist is going to be spare parts and just miscellaneous items that are good to have with you. The spare parts section is going to be an area where that's going to be something that you need to know your rig. You need to know what has potential of breaking.
So if you're vehicle is prone to breaking pinions, you should probably carry
A spare gear set.
a spare gear set.
The
Just bring a trailer.
The idea behind carrying spare parts is it should be something that you could change out on the trail with the right stuff. I mean, a gear set, that's not really plausible to change out on the trail. It can be done, but it would be a pain in the butt.
I'm not good at bringing spare parts. I just bring somebody who can drag me out.
So I carry all my spares in this little crate, and then look, another little bag of goodies. Spare electrical components. I got multiple different gauges of wires, fuses. We've changed some wire crimps on the side of the highway before on the Ranger, so ever since then I've carried some spares. We really could have used this part of the kit when we were in Moab on Hell's Revenge. The Ranger was broken down and had all the spare parts in it. So nitrile gloves, shop rags, and extra Ziplocs. Make sure you carry some of those.
Yeah.
This next little kit: spare valve stems, spare valve cores, a fuel line union, rubber cement, hose clamps. Just your basic stuff.
Where are the snacks at?
We've gotten a lot of use out of this duct tape. Duct tape or Gorilla tape. Always have a full roll of that stuff with you. There's a lot of gear and tools packed into our kits, and it's just too much to go through individually. A lot of what we pack, we have learned through experience of what we need out on the trail. The more experience that you get on the trail, the better that you will know your rig and be prepared for when someone needs a recovery or a rig breaks. If you want to know the full list of our toolkits, go and download the checklist in the link below and comment the items you use and that we might have missed so we can update the list. Remember, things are going to break and rigs are going to get stuck. Always try to have a good attitude about it and go prepared. Thank you again to Sneevy's Offroad for sponsoring this episode of the Reckless Wrench Garage. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Until next time, stay reckless.